In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made my notch collar jacket or blazer with no pattern drafting involved. I'll be sharing with you the most detailed and the most easiest method of making a notched collar jacket with freehand method. Greetings everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. So quickly, let's get started. Meanwhile, this is the inner finishing of the jacket. So let's get to the cutting process of this jacket. So I went ahead to cut out a fabric that is of desired length. We are going to be cutting out the back first, and your back length should be 3 inches longer than your actual length. And I have two pieces of this. So next you are going to measure the biggest part of your body divided by 4, and you are going to be adding 3 inches to this. So I'm going to measure the total of what I have at this point. I'm going to mark it out at the down part and at the up part. And I'll go ahead to cut this out, and this will be the width I need and the sewing allowance I need for the back piece. On the side there, I'll come down by 1.5 inches and connect it with a slanted line like this. I'll go ahead to cut this out. So next, following the slanted line, I'm going to mark out 1 inch like so. I'm going to place it on fold on that 1 inch point. To keep this down, I'll just go ahead to pin this up. From the side, you are going to measure 1 inch at the up part, at the down part, connect these points together, and all of your measurement is expected to start after this 1 inch line. So I'm going to go ahead to measure my shoulder measurement divided by 4. From the top part, I'll go ahead to measure my bust point, my half length, and this is already the desired length of the jacket, so I'll just leave it at that. Now I'll go ahead to connect this, and to be able to connect this very well, I'll just start from the down part, and I'll measure what I have at the down part, measure it at the sides so that I can get a very straight line because the top shoulder is slanted. So this is it for my lines. So I'll just go ahead to measure my armhole depth. Your armhole depth is expected to be 2 inches above your bust point. So I'll go ahead to make my armhole curve. On the half length line, I'm going to go in by 1 inch, and I'm going to be connecting this to the top part like so and to the down part like this. All of your measurements should now start immediately after this slanted line. So I'll place my tape there and measure my bust measurement divided by 4. Placing my tape on that point, I measure my waist measurement divided by 4, and I'm going to go down to the hip point and measure my hip measurement divided by 4. Take note, I've not added any sewing allowance. So next, to mark out your bust span line, to be able to get a straight line, use this 1 inch line, place your tape on it, mark out your bust span measurement divided by 2 plus half of an inch. You mark that at the down part, connect these 2 points together. So next, you get the midpoint of your armhole. On your half length line, you go ahead to mark a dart intake of 1 inch, which is half inch to the both side, and you also mark the same thing on the full length, connecting it down like so. Connect it to 1 inches before the bust point in a pencil shape like this. Then using a slanted line, you connect it to the midpoint of your armhole like so. Make sure you blend this point in very well so that it is not pointed or giving a curved look. So next, I'll go ahead to replace my dart intake after my waist measurement. I'll add it back in. So now at the side, I'm going to be adding 1 inch that we are going to be using to join our princess dart. Add it all the way to the down part. This one is the allowance for joining the princess dart. Then an extra 1 inch that will be serving as the seam allowance, which will be giving me a total of 2 inches as the total seam allowance. So I'll add this all the way down. I'm going to connect these mark points together, and that will be for the side shape. On the neckline, I'll mark a 3 inches wide neckline and leave it like that. To avoid any shortage of your princess dart, just extend it like this by 1 inch and curve it into your armhole curve. So I'll go ahead to cut this out as shown. Remember to blend this point so it is not pointed. Remember to notch your shoulder fold before you go ahead to cut out the back shaping. I'm going to keep the side piece aside. We are going to be cutting out the neckline. Now for the neckline, you are just going to curve it like so on your 3 inches width. Curve it like so. I'm going to be cutting just the shoulder fold. You are cutting just the shoulder fold, following the curve like so. Please do not cut it into the back piece. Just cut out only the shoulder fold. And this will be it for the back neckline. Remember, it is 3 inches wide. I'll cut out a fabric for the front piece, and the first step is to mark out 2 inches from the edge. Connect the mark points together, and all of your measurement is expected to start after this line. So I'll place my tape at the side, mark out 1.5 inches, connect it with a slanted line, go ahead to cut this out. From the top part, I'll place my tape to mark out my bust point, my under bust and my full length, and I'm going to connect it to the side the same way I explained for the back piece. Now I'll measure my shoulder measurement divided by 4. I'm going to mark out my armhole curve. I will add my body measurement without adding any sewing allowance first. I'll go ahead to mark out my bust span measurement divided by 4 plus half of an inch, connect it to the midpoint of my armhole, mark out my dart intake of 1 inch, extending it to the full length like so, and connecting it to the bust point because this is the front piece. Now I'm going to go ahead to extend the line on my armhole curve. I'll come down 1 inch from this point and connect it to the bust point like this. This is to give more room to the bust. So I'll go ahead to add back my dart intake of 1 inch on the half length and on the full length as well. I'm going to be adding my sewing allowance of 2 inches, which I have already explained how I came about the 2 inches while drafting the back part. So I'm going to add it all the way to the full length and I'm going to connect these points together. Next, you are going to decide where you want your lapel to stop, and for me, I want mine to stop at the underbust. So I'm going to measure out my underbust and this will serve as my break point. I'll go out by 1.5 inches after my 2 inches mark line, mark out 3 inches for my neck width and connect it to this point with a slanted line. You can decide to leave the down part straight like this, but I want mine curved, so I'm going to go in at this point by 1 inch. I'm going to connect this point together with a curve like so. I'm going to blend it in very well at that point. So next, I'm going to place my hands on these 2 points and turn out my lapel like so. At this point, you decide how wide you want your lapel to be. But for me, I'm going to be using a width of 3.5 inches as my lapel width. I'm going to connect this to the end of the lapel. And you cut out any excess you have. Do not mistakenly cut out your main bodies, please. So next is to decide where you want your collar notch to be. So starting from the tip of the collar, I went in by 1.5 inches. I will mark it out and I will also notch it, and this will be where my collar notch would sit. To avoid any shortage when joining your princess dart, extend the princess dart line out by 1 inch. Make sure it is blended very well. Then you go ahead to cut this out as shown. Kindly watch how I am going to cut this out and blend it into my armhole curve. First of all, you're going to take out this part with the dart excess and you're going to blend this into your armhole curve like this and take out the side shaping. Take out your curve at the front part and this will be it for the front. When cutting out lining for this, the front center should have a fabric that you want to be visible at your lapel point. So I'll go ahead to cut lining for all of this and also for the back pieces. And I'm going to be ironing paper stay on both the main fabric and on the lining. For the sleeve and for the collar, we are going to be cutting that after we have joined the pieces together. Follow the link in the description box to watch the detailed sewing process of this jacket. Thank you so much and see you in my next video. Bye.